we mentioned it. We're going to start off, or we're going to hit Auburn here, hit our predictions on Auburn. So,
yeah, final segment of the day. It's Auburn. I mean, look at the schedule. It's workable.
It's
workable. And let's see if Hugh Freeze can kind of put something together to build some momentum going into. I mean, this is obviously his second season there, but I think he could definitely make some work happen to get ready for that third season. Which, as a coach, that you put a lot of money in that third season, so you want to get that momentum going in the right direction.
Yeah, I totally agree with you here. You do get Georgia and Alabama like you do every year, but you luck out not having to play a Ole Miss. You don't have to play Texas. So it is, like you said, a very manageable schedule. But I'll go ahead and go first since you hit Kentucky first. You start off the season with 5 straight home games, man. And I think that's really going to help Auburn, as I think you get a win against Alabama A&M. You get California on a return trip. Last year, a bit of a slugfest, 14-7 victory out in California. But I think that I think you get a win here this year as well. You welcome in New Mexico. You didn't do well against New Mexico State last year, but let's welcome in the other New Mexico team. I think you get a win here in this one. You start off SEC play with Arkansas. I'm going to go with Auburn to win this game. So you start off the season 4-0. Pretty good look for Hugh Freeze. Starting off 4-0. Oklahoma, it is a home game, but I think right now Oklahoma is one step above Auburn, so I'm going to take Oklahoma to win that game. Then a bit of a rough 2-game stretch here, and even going into a 3-game stretch with Kentucky. 3 straight home games at Georgia, at Missouri, at Kentucky. You're going to drop Georgia, and you're going to drop Missouri.
3 straight away games, but yes.
Oh, what did I say?
You said home games, but you're good. I know what you meant.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, 3 straight away games there. Yeah. And 3 straight losses there for Auburn as well to go 4-3 before that matchup with Kentucky. And I'm going to take Kentucky to win that game, like I said in the Kentucky predictions. So the month of October, not good for Hugh Freeze and Auburn, but you can turn things around in the last stretch of the season. You do get Vanderbilt at home. I think that's a win for Auburn. You get a bye week before playing Louisiana Monroe. You get a win there. Texas A&M and Alabama to end the season. Texas A&M, we'll see where they're at this point in the season. But I do think that they pull out a win coming into Auburn. And then the Iron Bowl, anything can happen on any given year. But I think that Alabama will get the win here. So I've got Auburn going 6-6 in Hugh Freeze's second year. And I'll tell you why. It's just like I mentioned when we were talking about Kentucky earlier. I don't trust Peyton Thorne at quarterback. I think that Hugh Freeze is turning things around there. I think that he's got some guys on that team that can be successful. But in this league, you've got to have a good quarterback. Yeah. And I just don't trust Peyton Thorne. I do think that the floor for this Auburn team is, I'm going to say 4-8. I think that you could lose to Cal. I don't think Cal's very good, but I do think you could lose to Cal. And, man, Arkansas could come in and get a win. You could have Bobby Petrino and Sam Pittman on a little bit of a return run this year, trying to turn the table on things. So I'll say 4-8 is the floor. I think 5-7 is more likely than 4-8. As far as the ceiling goes, I think they could absolutely be. I'll go 8-4. I don't think that. I don't think.
Oh my goodness!
There's a 9-3. Oh, sorry. There is a 9-3.
Okay, I'm like, come on, man! You're just a complete Hugh Freeze hater. I mean, he's done some work in the transfer portal.
Yeah, no, I like Hugh Freeze. I had forgotten about the Oklahoma game there. I think you can get a win against Oklahoma, you get a win against Kentucky, and a win against A&M.
I was gonna say you ain't even talked about Kentucky. I mean, that's an ultimate swing game right there, in my opinion. But no, I mean, I like it. I think you're a little low on Auburn, honestly. But I mean, overall, we won't know until the season gets started, right? Because there are question marks at the quarterback position. But one thing I do know is Hugh Freeze has always been a quarterback guru. So if he can get the most out of his guy, he's going to. And we'll just see how that works out with Peyton Thorne.
Yeah. So Justin says it looks like he agrees with me as far as the schedule goes, and he says 8-4 is ceiling max. So
that's all right. Justin knowingly always agrees with you over me, and that's totally fine. It's just you deserve it. It's fine, but I do respectfully disagree with the difference there. That's fine.
Yeah, and like I said, I completely forgot about Oklahoma at first when I said 8-4. I meant 9-3 there because I think that they can win against Oklahoma, and I do think Kentucky and Texas A&M would be those other two wins. I just completely forgot about Oklahoma there on the schedule.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, man, I'm gonna run through this pretty quick. Yeah, I know. I see. I wasn't even gonna bring it up. But let's talk about Hugh Freeze's second year in a year where he really did hit the transfer portal pretty hard. I mean, I'm expecting to see a big difference out of this team with the schedule, like I said, that is very workable. Obviously, they start the year out with Alabama A&M, and that's going to be a win. Second week of the year, they go to California. I'm sorry, they host Cal, and which I think that'll be a win as well. I'm telling you, they're gonna start off rock solid, as they're going to beat New Mexico as well. They lost their quarterback to, I believe, Vanderbilt.
No, that's New Mexico State's quarterback in Diego.
No, my fault.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, like I said, Auburn's going to get that win.
Yeah.
They welcome their first SEC opponent in Arkansas. Arkansas is probably one of the bottom of the barrel teams this year. I think Auburn starts out 4-0 this year. I think they get the ball rolling pretty early. But then that final week in September and then October, I didn't know this, but obviously you play Oklahoma. I don't think they get the job done, honestly. Even though it's a home game, Jordan Hare, I don't think it's enough. But then what I didn't understand and what I didn't realize is the entire month of October, they don't play a home game. Georgia, not winning that game.
Skylar, we're kind of losing you a little bit.
Losing me a little bit. That's all right. It's service.
All right, you're back in now. It was just breaking out just a little bit there. So,
well, like I said, Oklahoma they dropped that game, but then they get Georgia, and they go to Georgia, and I don't think they win that game, not even a little bit. But they do get the bye week, which I was mentioning at Missouri, which I think is going to help a little bit with that travel because they got 3 straight away games, and they're not home in October whatsoever. But Missouri, I think, is just a really solid team, bringing back a lot of talent. And so Auburn, not so sure about it. I think they do drop 3 in a row. But here's where I differ from you just a little bit, and that's going to Kentucky. Now, here's where I kind of agree with you. That's their 3rd straight game on the road, and it's also like a whole month that they've not been at home. That could absolutely cause some turmoil or whatnot and uneasiness as far as keeping your guys focused. But I just don't think Kentucky's going to be that good of a team. So I think Auburn actually gets a win on the road at Kentucky. And then, of course, they beat Vanderbilt to kind of get back on track of things. They beat UL Monroe. And Texas A&M, I think they beat A&M. They get them at home. I think that could be a night game before, obviously, going to Alabama, in which I do think they dropped that game. But I've got the Auburn Tigers going 8-4, and which y'all are saying is the ceiling. I'm just not so sure about it. I think if we're talking ceiling here, I mean maybe, but Missouri could be one coming off that bye week going to Missouri. If Missouri's just not, I think Auburn's one of the sneakier good teams that Missouri plays all year. So I see the ceiling being a 9-3, but I do see the floor being close to a 6-6. They could lose to A&M. And then they can lose to Kentucky. But I don't really see anything outside of that. So 6-6 is the floor. 9-3 is the ceiling for this Auburn Tiger team. But I have them going 8-4 overall.
Yeah, so Justin chimes in. He says Oklahoma is better, unfortunately, this year. And I agree with that. Now, I will say this, too. This is going to be Oklahoma's first game in another SEC stadium as an SEC team. So, that could play a factor in it as well, because you get Tennessee the week before, but it's at home. So I do agree with you, Justin. But
in other words, this is Oklahoma's first chance for a win in the SEC. Is what he's trying to say.
Pretty much, yeah. So.